Alright, hello everybody who is watching this on my YouTube channel. I just wanted to say hi to you guys right away, as well as let you know that I'm really happy to just record this for you, share with you what I'm thinking about, and just kind of work through some of these ideas that I've been having lately. So the topic that I want to talk to you guys about is how we all feel about ourselves. So I've kind of noticed that a lot of times the way that we feel about ourselves is based on delusional ideas. In other words, distorted thoughts, basically saying that our brain is lying to us when we feel a certain way. So what people like me who are insecure sometimes do is we compare ourselves to other people. So those of you who are insecure, please back me up on this. Can you relate to that where you compare yourself to someone else? Oftentimes it's based on our body image or something else. Maybe somebody makes more money than you and you feel insecure about that. So by comparing yourself to other people, you are creating this feeling about yourself which is negative. But I also want to point out that I see a comparison to that way of thinking with people who are sometimes overly confident and who have big egos and who are maybe arrogant or whatever, who feel like they're the greatest thing that's ever existed on the planet. So what I want to point out about this subject is that there's two ends of the spectrum. One is people who have low self-esteem, and the other where people are, feel like they're special. And both of these ideas create a feeling about yourself. Now, they're different feelings, but I think that both of them create a false sense of reality. I think that both of them are delusional and that there's really no reason to feel good or bad about yourself in those extreme ways. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. So what I'd like you to do right now is to think about if you've ever been really insecure, if you've ever felt like there's something wrong with you, or I want you also think about the other side where maybe you felt like there's something special about you, you're gonna maybe change the world or something. If you've ever had those thoughts before, you've ever felt a strong way about yourself, to maybe take this time to re-examine those things and maybe understand that those things are, basically there's no reason to think them. And I found that by doing this, by understanding that there's delusional thoughts and feelings going on there, that you can then find yourself somewhere in the middle, which is where I think everybody should be. Because then you have this grounded sense of who you are based on real reasoning that's not based on these ideas that you have where you really just jump to conclusions way before you really need to jump to these conclusions. And, once you get to that point where you're buying into these lies that your brain is telling you, where you buy into these lies that sometimes other people tell you. Sometimes people boost your ego, they make you feel special. Sometimes people bring you down, they make you feel like crap. Either way, when you buy into what other people think about you, it's going to sometimes cause you to feel a certain way about yourself, which will, just bring you way off base of reality, and that can become a problem for you. So, I think that really what you have to do is you have to ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel one way or the other about myself? And when you really do that, you might realize that you've been thinking some things and feeling some ways about yourself which aren't doing you any good. And until you can really figure out where you're at right now in your life and who you are, when you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not ugly, there's no reason for me to think that, or when you can look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, I'm not the hottest guy in the world, I'm not going to pick up all these chicks and everything, that's not the way that I am. When you can look at yourself in the mirror and realize some things about yourself, like, hey, I'm not a genius, I'm not going to be a Mark Zuckerberg and come out with some Facebook thing, that's not me, I'm not going to invent the next thing in the world that's going to help everybody. When you can kind of put yourself in the appropriate place where you should be, that's going to help you a lot to just figure out how you can move forward in your life, making decisions and everything like that. But if you walk around feeling like, you're going to pick up every girl or guy that's around you because you're so hot and sexy, if you continue to feel like that, that's just, you're going to find out the hard way that that's not the truth. So one of the things that I've had to do in my life, because I struggle with a little bit of both, mostly the insecurity parts. What I've had to do in my life is I've had to kind of realize that, number one, there's nothing special about me. All right, I'm not going to be the savior of the world. I'm not going to be some genius to help out everybody. I have my own limitations. And that's basically the idea of getting your head out of the clouds. So I've had to do that in my life to kind of get away from that delusional way of thinking. I still struggle with these things every once in a while, but this is what I do. The second thing I do is to realize that being really negative, having such a low self-esteem, and comparing myself to other people, hating myself, feeling terrible, awful, feeling pathetic, feeling that way about myself also isn't doing me any good. Identifying those things that I'm afraid of and realizing that those fears that I have are irrational. When I do that, I realize that, once I recognize those ways of thinking that, are based on delusions, at that point, I can then say, oh my gosh, this is where I've been the whole time, this is who I am, and from that point, I can then, number one, it makes me feel confident in the right way. It makes me realize what I actually can and can't do, and it's just having this really pure sense of self-awareness and self-identity. And when you can do that, that's really what I think everybody should be aiming to do. So ask yourself, why you feel the way that you do about yourself, whether that's overly confident or really insecure, and examine the reasons for that. Is it because someone told you how to feel? Is it because you're jumping to conclusions and believing things that have no basis in reality? Just think about why, and don't be so quick to buy into the lies that your brain is telling yourself. Sometimes you have to write out on paper what you're feeling, and then kind of look at them and criticize those thoughts and bring those ideas to other people. Say, hey, is this how you see me? Do you see me as somebody who's really insecure? Do you see me as ugly? Do you see me as stupid? Or bring yourself to the other side, like, hey, am I actually this really cool guy? Am I really awesome and spectacular? Do you think I'm going to change the world? Is that how awesome I am? Do you think I'm the greatest guy who's ever existed on the planet? Ask other people how they perceive you. Sometimes it's important to understand how other people perceive you, because it can help you understand yourself more. So I would advise you to do that. It's starting to rain here. That's awesome. I think I'm going to end the video right now anyway. I just wanted to kind of share with you guys, this is what I'm thinking about. This idea that we get ourselves to this place where we believe things that are not true, and that cause us to feel a certain way about ourselves, right? There's this thing called distorted thoughts and everything. Look that up. It's basically what I'm talking about. And I know that some of you guys already know a lot about this. Some of you guys are way ahead of me in the terms of understanding this, but I like to talk about this stuff and work it out, because sometimes we have to just think about this kind of stuff in our lives so we can move forward and really be the person that we are. And it's okay. Like, here's the one thing that I have to say about this, is that it's okay to not be anything special. It's okay to just be normal. It's okay, and being normal means that there are things about you which are weird or quirky or whatever. So it's okay to not be special. It's okay to be insecure even sometimes, because a lot of times what you're insecure about, other people are insecure about the exact same things. And to recognize that it's okay to be vulnerable is always going to help you when it comes to freeing yourself from these ideas which really hold you back and restrict you from being happy in your life and living the life that you should be living. So hopefully this video kind of helped you. If it did, give it a thumbs up and I can talk about this more. Also, please just share with me what this made you think about, how this applies to your life, what you can do with this information, with these ideas now that you're thinking about it. And I'd like to hear more from you about this. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you do share this on social media. It really helps me out a lot, and I'm sure other people would want to hear this as well. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Thanks for watching. Remember, don't hate yourself.